Okay, what's up, everybody? This is Francisco from Sports Goofs. So yeah, I'm here, and I'm doing a Sports Goofs mini here. Just trying to, you know, just talk about some news stories from today. Of course, some things that I just saw on Twitter. Just a quick thing here. Now I'm here in the Sports Goofs studio. Here, my buddies Andrew and Charles are not here. It's just me, and I'm just waiting for traffic to go down here in Miami because, well, it's a lot right now. I don't feel like dealing with it. So I'm done with work. I'm just sitting chilling in my office. So I decided, hey, let's just pop into the virtual studio and kill some time. So just some things I've been retweeting across the day that were funny to me. So let me head on over to the Sports Goose Twitter account real quick, and we can take a look at that right quick. So head on over there. Do I have to log in here? Don't tell me I have to log in. I don't want to log in. All right, that's gonna take a bit. I have to log in. Well, looks like I'm gonna have to log in. So all right, well let's do it. Let's log in. Sports underscore goofs, real quick. Actually, hold on one second. Let me do this off screen here. Okay, all right, so I'm back. Sorry about that. So one last person came into the office and I had to deal with it. But now I'm here. So John Jay has announced his retirement from baseball. He hasn't played in quite a while, but that's some interesting news right there. I want to go to my profile real quick just to see some of the things that I've retweeted across the day on the Sports Goofs account. There's all the stuff that we're here. This was a funny image that I saw earlier today with the San Jose Sharks facing off against the Anaheim Ducks over at SAP Center, and it seems like a fairly innocuous thing here. Like, hey, fans, unite, celebrate, keep the hockey energy kicking, now imbibe generously, honor the Sharks. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. That's it. That's typical sports stuff, rah rah. Even though the Sharks and the Ducks are not going to the playoffs, but yeah, and well, now that I'm reading, people don't think it's real, and really now it's amazing how much how good a lot of people are in Photoshop with all of these things. It's kind of a trend, really. I mean, ultimately, it's basically just says, "Fuck the Knights," the Vegas Golden Knights. But I just I'm trying to see it on the other side. Okay, so I think I can tell whether it's Photoshop, because if you look at the other screen here on the right, the other board here, the video board, it doesn't seem to align, the angle doesn't seem to align with the one over here in the center, in the middle, where the K starts. It seems like it's kind of, yeah, no, this is Photoshop for sure, unless that screen is significantly smaller, but it can't be because, well, I think the Sharks don't have any of those. They don't have a gigantic scoreboard like some arenas do, with just two gigantic ones and the two smaller ones on the sides of them. Yeah, no, this is definitely a fake. This is definitely a fake. So, but it's funny nonetheless. It's funny, and yeah, it seems to be. California teams were kind of the teams that are always dogging on each other. San Jose, Anaheim, and Los Angeles over in the NHL. But now the Vegas Golden Knights come in, and a ton of those people go to Vegas for vacations and everything like that, and probably have friends and family that live in Vegas. And yeah, it's a genuine rivalry with the Golden Knights doing so well to start off their franchise. So that was a funny bit that I saw. Then let's keep going down here. Some stuff from the NBA. Of course, the big things. Of course, the Nets were eliminated and the Hawks were eliminated. And so you see this guy commented here, both smiling after being eliminated. The NBA is not the same. As you see, the interviews with Kyrie Irving and Trae Young after they were eliminated from the playoffs. And then some, of course, comment down here is they don't make him like Kobe anymore. And Kobe, of course, not smiling whatsoever. I think this is the... Oh, no, this is when they won. But even then, he wasn't... Some guys are just different. But then, of course, someone posted here, Kobe after the 2008 finals loss. Let's stop with the nonsense nostalgia. Players cared then, players care now. So I just think a lot of players are just way more... I mean, ultimately, it's a sport. It's a game. And I think a lot of them are just way more... I don't know. It's not that they're not invested. Of course, they're invested, but they handle things better. It's a game. They tried their best. They lost. And, all right, well, go to the next offseason. They're not happy with the way things went, but it's not like their lives have been ruined. They got paid. They're going to make out very well. They're going to go through an offseason of, yes, workouts and everything like that, but also an offseason of, hey, promoting the brand and all of that and getting money there and going on vacations and everything like that. So, yeah, they're fine. Those guys are good. Then down here, Kevin Durant, who has been doing great on Twitter since he got eliminated, as, of course, there's the talk from the NBA on TNT crew. He's got a beef with Charles Barkley. That's been great. NBA on TNT did a fantastic video with this Office parody with the Brooklyn Nets. Back when the in the office when they went out to go get pies. Yeah, I think that was that episode. So that was great. Um, so this was yeah, this is a beautiful editing job. Whoever did this did a great job. It felt very natural and very funny. And then of course this thing with Ben Simmons trying to play hooky from that's great. Uh, so yeah, and of course Kyrie Irving, or not Kyrie, Kevin Durant was responding to a guy who just asked him the question, "Hey, are you more likely to respond if it is a hate comment or supportive comment? I love you, you failure." And then he responded to it by just putting hate. And it's the reason why we on the show like Kevin Durant, because he's real. He's a real human being, real guy with real feelings, and he just doesn't care anymore what you think. And he'll just respond. It's no longer a, I don't know, tiptoeing around saying things a certain way. He's not trying to maintain his thing like LeBron James does. Like Kevin Durant's like, screw it. If you guys want to hate me, you're gonna hate me. I got my burner accounts. I got all this other stuff, which is great. Then we got this post here, which was just look. These are pupusas. They're a traditional El Salvadoran dish. I've had them before. They are incredibly tasty. Basically, a corn flour tortilla, and just filled with whatever the heck you want, man. But this is basically just pure cheese, and it just looks so damn good. I've never made them before, but I think I should make the attempt. I feel like these are close enough to arepas that I think I could be able to pull this off. So that's that. Then the NHL, this is something I did want to see. The NHLPA, the Players Association, came out with their player poll for this season. So I want to take a look at this if it will let me. That's the thing with broadcasting on OBS. It doesn't exactly work well compared to other things. So actually, I might just have to find it on Twitter myself and then go from there and then paste it onto here, and then gosh, man, I have to jump through a few hoops just to get to this, but I haven't looked at it yet, so you're gonna get a live reaction from me as to what NHL players think. So here we go. Just going down. Let's keep going. Gosh, man. Where is it? There it is. There's the link. I'm going to copy that. And then we're going to go into, put it on the screen back there. Into it, and then I'll change everything back later on. So let's see if it'll pop up. There we go. So NHL Players Association player poll for this season. So this is more than 500 NHL players were surveyed on 15 hockey-related questions during the regular season. They weighed in on various topics, including questions on the most complete player, players they dread facing against but admire, best hockey hair, and more. So, on ice, let's go. If you need to win one game, who is the one goalie you would want on your team? 37% said Andrei Vasilevsky of the Tampa Bay Lightning, so he won out. And then second behind him was Carey Price, which I was surprised by, but I guess that's more of a respect pick than anything else. And then going further down the list, you got Marc-Andre Fleury, John Gibson from Anaheim, Jacob Markstrom at Calgary, who's a former Florida Panther. He came up with us. Unfortunately, he was thrown to the Wolves down here before he was really ready. And, of course, we had some terrible teams in front of him. So, unfortunately, he couldn't stick it out. And, of course, we traded him over to Vancouver when we got Roberto Luongo back. So, Markstrom, I'm happy to see him doing so well. There's a possibility Calgary, if the Panthers get it to the Stanley Cup final, maybe it'll be Calgary because they've got a really good squad this season. Jonathan Quick, followed by UC Saros over at Nashville. So it's interesting that Vasilevsky, of course, last 2 seasons, Lightning have won Stanley Cup, so I'm sure that's and he's won Vezinas, so that's a no-brainer pick. But Marc-Andre Fleury not as high as Carey Price, even though Fleury has won a Vezina, he's won Stanley Cups. So and same thing with Jonathan Quick, he's won cups as well. Yep. So next is, if you needed to win one game, who is the one skater you would want on your team? So 42% said Connor McDavid. That, which heck, he's superstar Connor McJesus, Edmonton Oilers, but so far Oilers haven't done anything in the playoffs. But I guess if you just needed to win one game, they would want Connor McDavid, and it's not a bad choice. So I'm not going to argue with anybody, but he hasn't been able to pull that feat off in the postseason. But Edmonton's in; they're facing the LA Kings. We're going to see how that goes down. Sidney Crosby, second. Right, that's a respect pick. That's a legacy pick. That's Sidney Crosby. That makes sense. Victor Hedman at 6.7% for Tampa. Alexander Barkov getting some love out there. He's at 3.5%. He's so damn good. And then Nathan McKinnon at 3.3%. And I find it funny we have Sidney Crosby here, and yet we don't have Alex Ovechkin anywhere near this. Interesting from the players. Who is the best stick handler? Patrick Kane. I can't fault that one. Patrick Kane is so damn good. He's on the Chicago Blackhawks. They're probably gonna keep him for the whole of his career. I don't know. I doubt he would go anywhere else. But then again, it's so rare for a player to play his whole career with one team. But I feel like, gosh, actually, out of the two, between Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews, I feel like they'd keep Toews because Toews would be willing to stay no matter what they'd pay him. But Patrick Kane is, of course, the actual star for Chicago. Then Connor McDavid at number 2. And then followed by Nathan McKinnon. Yes. Barkov getting the love. Johnny Gaudreau at 1.4% from Calgary. And then here's the first appearance of Austin Matthews at 1.4%. And it's also funny with the winning one game thing, nobody picked Austin Matthews, or it's not nobody picked him, but he didn't show up in the top picks up there for the players. Best passer. So 17.7%, Leon Draisaitl. And at 15.6%, Patrick Kane. Draisaitl plays on the line with Connor McDavid, so that makes a lot of sense. Nicholas Backstrom makes a lot of sense as the next pick, as you see down there, because he's been feeding Alex Ovechkin for so long. And then Connor McDavid himself at 10.6, and then Nikita Kucherov at 6.2. And yet nobody's Jonathan Huberdeau's not on this list, and he's been dishing it out like crazy this season. Which player do you wish you could shoot like? 53.1% Alex Ovechkin, and yes, that makes a ton of sense. He's going for the most goals record for a reason, and there's no surprise there. Then Austin Matthews, he scored 60, so that makes a ton of sense too. Then Patrick Laine with the pick there from Columbus. David Pasternak from Boston is next. Then Steven Stamkos and Nikita Kucherov after that. Who is the most complete player? And here we go. Sidney Crosby, yes. Most complete player, I would say yes. Crosby is the best all-around player. Ovechkin is great, but Crosby has all of the tools at 29.5%. Then Alexander Barkov. I'm so happy to see him be... And this is not a secret no more. Players know how good Barkov is. So 20.5%. Barkov does it all. Defense, offense, assists. He can score your goal. He'll win you a shootout. He'll do everything and anything. And he's one of the most dangerous players on the ice when he's on the ice. Then Patrice Bergeron. That's a good pick. Connor McDavid, yes, because he's that dangerous. And Anze Kopitar out in LA. That's a legacy pick as well. And he's been doing it for so long and out in LA. and he's the captain for a reason. So, which NHL arena has the best ice? And yeah, you're going to see a lot of Canadian arenas here because it just seems to be that way. But the Bell Center out in Montreal has won out 39.6%. Then Rogers Place out in Edmonton. Edmonton's always been noted as having great ice, so that's not a surprise to me. Then Canada Life Center out in Winnipeg. It's a small venue, and they found a way to make great ice. T-Mobile Arena out in Vegas. They've done a great job out in the middle of the desert to do that. XL Energy in Minnesota. And then finally Madison Square Garden, who they do their ice differently than everybody else. But they got 2.8% there. Which player do you least enjoy playing against? This is great. This Charles is gonna love this one. 26.4% saying Brad Marchand, and yeah, that is 18.3%. I can see for Connor McDavid because you don't want to get burned by him. That's like you don't want to get posterized by someone like that. But Brad Marchand is just because he's gonna annoy you, and then Tom Wilson because everybody thinks he's a dick. That I get that. Victor Hedman, he's and then Nathan McKinnon, and McKinnon's another pick where it's just like you don't want to face him because you're afraid you're gonna get burned by him. Like he's just gonna blaze past you. Best current women's hockey player, Marie-Philippe Poulin for Team Canada at 43.2%, and then Hillary Knight for the Team USA and basically Team USA and Canadian women here. Amanda Kessel, Phil Kessel's sister, then followed by Kendall Coyne Schofield, and then Sarah Nurse for Team Canada. All right, so those are the actual on-ice things there, and then we'll go to off-ice stuff. Where is the best NHL road city to spend an off day? And number one is Vegas, and that makes great sense so the Vegas Golden Knights. It's a destination, and players are loving the fact that the Golden Knights exist. Then New York City. Good, that's a good one. Then here, Florida, Sunrise, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, South Florida. So a lot of teams do their fathers trips, where they bring all their fathers along with them on the road, and a lot of the times they're here in Florida. Then Los Angeles at 10%, and then finally Nashville. I heard Nashville's a great city to be in. I want to visit Nashville someday. I have to go to Tennessee at some point. I have a couple friends out there that probably would welcome me. Okay, then we're going to which NHL player could make it in another sport. Joe Pavelski for golf. A lot of NHL players play golf, just a ton of them. He's at 4%. Then Anders Lee for football. He's a big dude, 3.6%. Then Zdeno Chara for basketball, just because he's tall, 3.3%. But Greg McKegg for golf. Yeah, you just got so many golf choices here. Nobody said baseball, really. No baseball here. Interesting. Ryan Reeves for football. Yeah, all right. And then next is player personality. Which NHL player has the best hockey here? Cody Eakin for Buffalo. Buffalo won something at least. 8.9%. Yeah. Ooh. He's a ginger and he's got a flow. I can dig that. William Karlsson. Yeah, he's always had great hair. At 7.9%. Eric Carlson. Another. Yeah, he's got great hair. John Morrell. that is a beautiful mullet at 4% for Minnesota. And then Brandon Tanev out in Seattle, 3.8%. Which NHL player is the best follow on social media? Yeah, PK Subban's got the social media game on point at 16.3%. He's got a beautiful wife and all that stuff with Lindsey Vonn. Austin Matthews at 11.8% for Toronto. I haven't really followed his stuff. Brad Marchand. Brad Marchand is a great Twitter follow. He's a good dude off the ice. He has 6.9%. Hey, Jonathan Huberdeau with some love there, 3.4% out. And yeah, Huberdeau posts a lot of great stuff. Basically, I think players are just because he posts a lot of stuff about basically living in South Florida and just the fact that he plays professional hockey. It's December. It's freezing out in Edmonton, and yet he's chilling outside of his fantastic, I don't know how many $1 million home with a pool, and then he's heading down to the beach, and he's going over downtown Fort Lauderdale for some dinner at a fancy restaurant with his girlfriend. Like, yeah, he's like that. And then, which NHL player is the best role model? Sidney Crosby, 42.7%. Makes a lot of sense. And I think that comes from Crosby. I think he was living with Mario Lemieux when he was a rookie. So he came up with him, and I guess he's more of a guy that can learn how to pass the torch and teach guys. Then Patrice Bergeron out in Boston. Connor McDavid, which is surprising because Connor McDavid is he's still young, but he's taken up that captaincy role out in Edmonton seriously, and he wants to create a legacy because that's a massive legacy to try and deal with out in Edmonton. You got Gretzky, you got Messier, and all those guys, and then Marc-Andre Fleury, who's been through a lot over even the last 5 years. Last 5 years, Fleury has gone through a lot in the NHL. It's almost like they're casting him off, even though he's still good. He won a Vezinas last season, and he was still traded away. That's insane. So yeah, and he's won Stanley Cups and traded away. Yeah. So then, which non-NHL athlete would you like to trade places with for a day? Most say Tom Brady at 18.3%. Then the other, Tiger Woods at 10.5%. Man, these guys really love golf. Then LeBron at 7.5%. Then Roger Federer at 7%. And then Cristiano Ronaldo at 6.4%. And yeah, that's it. That's the NHL player poll for this season. And yeah, I like seeing some insight into the players. I feel like NHL players are very. Even, you can even see it in some of the picks. They're, I guess, there's no better way to say it. They're very white bread, very very plain white bread. Like in My Big Fat Greek Wedding, like they're like toast. They're like toast, like a plain piece of toast a lot of the time. So I feel like, because if you notice, like a lot of them just like playing golf and doing and yes, it's the culture and it's the way they grew up and all things like that. But I don't know, some of these guys could stand to, eat a chimichanga. That's what we did for Andrew. He had a chimichanga, and now he's the most ethnic man on the show. Well, the guys that play down here in South Florida are great for the Florida Panthers, and probably the guys who play for the LA Kings too are doing well with the whole diversity thing. But if you're playing out in Calgary, sure Calgary's fine, but I hope you like rodeos. And I bet they do. Really, I like rodeos too. Never mind. What am I talking about? All right. I guess that should be it. Traffic has cleared down enough for me. I've been at this for about half an hour, even though, let's say, 5 minutes of that I was not even talking. And yeah, so thanks everybody for coming over to the virtual Sports Goof studios. I will see you next time.